Now here at Randwick, one of the real highlight races is coming up. It's the Group 1 TJ Smith, and again we see the clash of Fastnet Rock and Alingi. They've had some great duels already in the spring. Alingi's the top rater, Fastnet Rock, Alquivira and Only Words, 5, 1, 4 and 3 for our ratings. And here's the rundown of the prices. I can tell you that on course, Alingi is the odds-on favourite, and she's a little bit better than what she's paying on the TAB at the moment. Fastnet Rock there at 280 is also a little bit.
Ticket on the Newmarket, won the Oakley, won the Lightning. His form on slow and dead tracks is outstanding. Look, he's just bulletproof.
He's the total package, Bruce. There's no doubt about that. He's an extraordinarily valuable horse. My brother and I trained his mother, Piccadilly Circus. She liked it wet too, so it's no surprise there.
Wonderfully Alingi. She's been favoured in every race she's ever been in. This is her 16th start. She's been odds-on 9 occasions, but she's been beaten in the odds-on twice in Sydney. But against that, Richard, 1,200-metre form, 7 starts, 6 wins. Slow track form, 3 starts, 2 wins. She's wonderful. She's never been out of a place in her entire 15 starts, Bruce. Danny Nikolic rides for the first time today. That may upset her a little bit. There's no guarantee.
Tracks is 2 for 2, and as we've been saying, this track is getting worse all the time. They have downgraded it since the last race from a slow 6 to a slow 7, so who knows, we might even get to heavy before the day is out. But these are wonderful.
And they're off now on the TJ, and they came away on a nice level line. Fastnet Rock wide out is just in front of Only Words. Crimson Rain not far away with Alquivira Shamika, and 2 lengths further back Alingi said, coming along past the 650 by 2 Crimson Rain. A length and a half third is Only Words, 1 Shamika, 1.5 Fastnet Rock, and nearly 2 lengths to Alingi, who'd be about 8 or 9 lengths off Alquivira. He's about to make a move on her now. I refer to Danny Nikolic on Alingi. He's taking her to the extreme outside as they straighten up now. And on top of the rise, it's the roughie Alquivira. A length and a half on Only Words, Crimson Rain, Shamika, Fastnet Rock and Alingi are joining in now. This is what we've come to see. It's Fastnet Rock and Alingi going after Shamika, Alquivira and Only Words. Shamika hits the front. Fastnet Rock, Only Words, Alingi trying to get Shamika, but it's a boil over. Shamika beat Fastnet Rock. Very close for third. Over on the inside, Alquivira, wide out Alingi, and Only Words in that photo too. And Crimson Rain came in at the back of the field. Shamika, number 2, a boil over, $15 and $4.30.
Yeah, it's a good betting race. There's a couple of drifters here off. Which one are you putting on top?
Well, I'm not going to change from original selection.
Threw the ground pretty well, and you know, she was produced very well for the day.
Slow track wasn't a drama?
No, she was able to get on the bridle and you know, race pretty comfortable, and she let down at the right time.
This morning I thought, will I or won't I scratch her? And then all of a sudden I looked at the clock, and as God must have been on my side, it was 7:35, and I thought, oh, well, we'll leave it at that.
Not to mention TJ's probably looking down and saying, runner, runner.
Yes, I would think so, very much so.
Well done, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gay was extremely happy with good reason yesterday. Shamika, Darren Beedman aboard at $26. Big odds. Fastnet Rock second and Only Words third. Let's hear from the beaten jockeys. Interesting to hear what Glenn Voss had to say about Fastnet Rock.
Yeah, too heavy for him. The conditions are a bit soft. He felt like he had about 3 or 4 lengths up his sleeve and just couldn't produce. He ran a courageous race to run second. He was going to run 4th, but full credit to the winner. 2 good on the day.
She travelled good to the turn. I thought I had him covered on straightening when I peeled to the outside. When I let her go, she seemed to flounder. In the last 100 metres, she actually lost a bit of ground and her run had ended. But I haven't ridden her on top of the ground, but she didn't feel brilliant at all on that track. She didn't handle it.
Danny Nikolic there. What do you make of all that?
Yeah, I don't know what to think of it. I do feel the horses out wide, it might not have been the place to be. I'm convinced inside was better than out where the 2 favourites were. Look at Beedman here. He's just poetry in motion. We had an email saying he'd got his foot right in the eye now. Now he's got the toe in the eye and hands and heels here. He lifted this mare over the line. She's
Lee Freedman this morning was critical in the way that the track was racing. Being aware, I guess they would have maybe ridden Alingi a little bit closer, but Lee was quite critical that yesterday you couldn't make ground up from back in any race.
Well, I reckon there's a number of reasons for that, Andrew. The two main reasons for it is it's a heavy track and there was a big tailwind up their clacker, a howling wind behind them in the straight, which always favourites horses up on the pace. But I think it was compounded by the fact that the heavy roller was put over the inside section of the track between races yesterday, and I think that adds to the advantage of horses up on the pace and closer to the rail. So I'm not a big fan of the heavy roller being put over tracks on race day. I know there are reasons for it, but
so you're saying they put the heavy roller only on the inside or all round?
Well, they can't do the whole track. It's not enough time between races to do the whole track. So the only place I saw it was going around on the inside rail.
So how wide was that, Richard?
Well, I think the heavy roll is looks to me to be about 4 or 5 metres wide. That's only a guess from afar, but you know, I'm not a great supporter of doing that on race day. I think it allows people to perhaps presume that there will be advantage where that heavy roller has been. It does compact the surface.
Well, I think it's only natural you would assume that it's going to assist the inside if you do put a roller on it. Why don't they let us know they're doing it?
Well, it's out there in front of the stand. I mean, everyone at the course knew what it was doing.
We're in Melbourne.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Look, it's just a minor point. I think there are a number of
It's not a minor point. I think it's a major point.
Do you?
I agree.
Well, I'm not so sure. I don't know how much effect it actually has, but the perception's not good. But anyway, I did say I thought some pilot error. Now, I've been explaining that before the two jocks who are both friends of mine, Glenn Boss and Danny Nicolick, get upset with me. I can't blame Danny Nicolick because he's having his first ever ride on that filly and he thought, I'll just do what Ollie did in the Newmarket and follow Glenn Boss, come to the outside of him and do what Ollie did, right? And that's percentage play, so I don't blame him. But Glenn was looking for a lingy. They were sitting off those front runners a little too far, and by the 600 they were still sitting there looking at each other. The bird was flying and it was all over by the time they worked it out.
Got a Group 1 race coming up. It's the Sires Produce Stakes for 2-year-olds over 1,400 metres, featuring the Golden Slipper winner from last week, and I refer to Stratum. He's the top rater. Fashions of Fear's the firm favourite. Well, he's $3.80 there on the TAB. He's much shorter. He's over $1 shorter here at Randwick, just to give you some guide. And the other mate between what's happening, but certainly the value at the moment is with Stratum at $3.70, considerably shorter here at Randwick. Rock in the betting, $2.90 on the TAB. He's still shorter than that here at Randwick. Nemesis, Big Drifter, and there's no money late for Fashions of Field. One horse that's in
2005, and the gates are back, and there they go. And Fashions of Field flew out and leads comfortably on another time as they settle. And then comes the favourite Stratum. Wider out on the track is the Largo. Doomsday second last, and 2 lengths Power of Destiny hard ridden. They work their way past the 700 and the Rhine, a length and 3/4 another time. A half to Fashions of Field, Johnny on the inside, and then comes the favourite Stratum. A length to Nemesis, 1.5 El Delago, followed by Flora Danica, second last Doomsday, and a length and a half further off in the field is Power of Destiny. Around the corner, the Rhine first for the judge, a length and a half Fashions of Field. Johnny over on the inside, Nemesis is going up very quickly as Fashions of Field hits the front, and Stratum's making heavy weather of it. He's going backwards, they run to the 220. Fashions of Field in front, Nemesis is about 3/4 of a length away. It's a race in 2, but Fashions of Field at the moment in front. She shifted out on Nemesis. A good margin to Johnny, but Fashions of Field in front. She's going to atone for a minor placing the other day, second in the slipper. It's Fashions of Field taking out the Sires Produce Stakes from Nemesis, third placing to Johnny, and fourth was Doomsday. Then came, as they run on in at long intervals, Flora Danica, Power of Destiny, Stratum. He wasn't the same horse as in the slipper, followed further back in the field then by El Delago. The Rhine Weekend, and Absolute was another time. Fashions of Field, too good in the Sires.
Pointing first up. A little bit of the sting out today. I'd probably prefer a little bit more, but she should run okay.
Probably a little bit unlucky when she took a step back coming out of the gates in the slipper, where she got back in amongst them, but she made amends today.
She seems to know when a horse is challenging her too. She really bullocks, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. She gets her head very low to the ground, which is sort of a bit of a trait of the Redoubt's Choice breed. They're very, they try very hard and they know where the line is. They really stick their necks out to try and win.
Another one by Redoubt's Choice. Fashions of Field, Nemesis second, and Johnny was third. Darren Beedman rode Nemesis.
Fabulous run. She travelled really well in the going and smoked up the rise nice. And the winner sort of took me to the race good, but winner was just too good on the day. But she'll come back a nice filly as a 3-year-old.
The winner.
Yes, I don't think it's arguable that she's the best 2-year-old filly. I think she's no doubt the best 2-year-old filly in the country at the moment. Fashions of Field, the second in the Golden Slipper, and now coming out and winning the Sires. And it was a perfect. She's the perfect type of filly to have won that race yesterday. She got up on the pace, she hammers along, she doesn't give in, she handled the track, she's got a compact little action. I think that was the perfect horse. I wanted to back her before the race. I couldn't get away from the the TV to have a bet, but I wanted to back her. I said it at the time. Anyway, if she backs up in the Champagne, I think she'll be 2-year-old of the year.
If she'll back up, she's got 4 legs, she's fit, she'll be running, handles all types of conditions. She's a star. She's just a goer.
She'll be there.
She'll be there, and she'll run a big race. She's just so tough. And look, it can be misleading. A lot of these horses, they've never seen a slow to heavy track, but she got through it pretty good, and she hit the line better than anything. She'll run a mile.
Nemesis had a chance to beat her.
She had a cold. She had a cold straightening up, I thought. I thought she was going to just go straight past
I thought you meant she had a cold.
No, I thought she was going to pounce on Fashions of Field, but she just pulled too much out.
She nearly fell off.
He's done the job. Why not cash in?
Yeah.
Stratum just failed that. He didn't handle it at all. You could see he wasn't handling the going.
Race number 6 is the big one of the day. The David Jones AJC Australian Derby, the classic for the 3-year-olds over 2,400 metres. Outback Prince and Excellent are equal top raters from Eremine and Jim Carew, 1, 4, 2 and 3. Only 13 minutes until start time in the Derby, a $2 million race. Excellent number 4, this Boom Kiwi. Boy, he's got some raps on him. $3.60 on the TAB is the number 2. Now on track, Excellent is a little bit shorter, just a little bit shorter. He is the favourite here. Other hopes, Eremine. There's already been support for Eremine. Eremine number 2 has been well supported. Good support for Eremine. Jim Carew, there's money for Jim Carew. Excellent's been a drifter, but he's still favourite.
And they're off. And Stella Grande didn't jump all that quickly. High C was out well, and the same can be said for Taisho. Outback Prince and Eremine with Sly Dog improving. Railings very wide out, followed by Zavenska. A length to Stella Grande and a couple to Jim Carew on the outside of King Johnny. 2 lengths Excellent, and Western Bow on the outside of the favourite. They make the run out of the straight going along past the 2,000 marker. High C taken on by one of the roughies, Taisho. A length and a half to Outback Prince, pratted wide. Eremine holding his posse, a horse off the fence. Then Zavent Excellent would be about 8 lengths from the leader, Taisho. And as they work down past the 750, Taisho from Outback Prince, Eremine third, and then Slide Dog wider out, High C over on the rails, followed by Zavenska. Further back in the field then as they race to the home corner, Stella Grande. Railings is very deep, and a couple of lengths to King Johnny. Jim Carew, Excellent second last. He's trying to get to the outside on it, and Western Bow is last around the corner. And Taisho surrendered. Eremine and Outback Prince have raced to the lead together, with Eremine putting his neck in front. Then Stella Grande. Railings is coming down the outer, and High C's getting a clear run. Excellent is a mile back. Eremine taken on by Stella Grande and Railings. Eremine just the leader from Stella Grande. Railings the outside. Eremine, he's fighting on from Stella Grande, and it's going to be Eremine's AJC Australian Derby. Eremine beats Stella Grande and Railings. And then came wider out King Johnny with Zavenska and High C Excellent a long way back. Outback Prince followed home then by Sly Dog, Taisho, Western Bow and Jim Carew. Eremine's Derby. Beautifully.
Having a good race.
Wade is right on the next race, or the previous race at Ramwick, 2, 5 and 11.
I thought I might have got there a little bit soon, but he dug deep when he seen the other horses coming at him with about 100 to go. But to his credit, the horse is a really good horse. He should have won the Triple Crown.
We never thought we'd get this far with him, but every time you give him the test, he comes through with flying colours.
The Timber Country breed, obviously there was a bit of a worry about the wet, but they obviously get through it okay.
Well, everybody told me they had, and if he'd have been the first not to handle it, but when you turned for home and he come up the rise, it was looking pretty sweet.
Jeff and Beryl White, that also put
true, Alan, how true. Well done, mate. And a terrific ride by Corey Brown in getting Eremine home. Stella Grande second. Railings at 100 to 1 pop getting third. Let's hear firstly from the beaten jockeys.
A little bit down the track, he'd be a really nice staying horse, but he didn't disgrace himself at all. Great run.
He ran an enormous race. He was 3 deep the whole race, but he was nice and relaxed there and had cover. And you know, it was a big turnaround from last week, and he's only got beat a half length in the Group 1 race, so you know, he'll stay all day. And I thought he ran fantastic.
I just think this horse, you know, he's a real probably Sydney Melbourne Cup sort of horse. You know, you just go another lap at that same speed, and probably wasn't really run to suit him today. They didn't really go that quick, and then they dashed home. Probably didn't run to suit him, but he's a nice horse for a future point of view for a stone run race.
he just didn't like the track. He just struggled in it most of the way at the mile. I know him. I knew I was in trouble then. You know, he's having trouble tacking on to the back of the field, and at 1,000 metres he's still not coming underneath me. You know, he just struggled in that heavy ground, and just didn't suit him at all.
Well, Richard, I think we probably underrated Eramine when we ran the form for that yesterday.
I think we're all too clever for ourselves. There was the horse with all the right form to win the Derby, and all we wanted to do was look around him and try and find Kiwis and all sorts of other horses to beat him. But he got to the front early and he kept battling on. He really interesting, but I'm not taking anything away from the winner. I thought he was too tough. He may be a horse that can go on and win weight for age standard staying events, Eramine. The rest of them, including Stella Grande at this stage, I think look like handicappers. And maybe that's being a little tough on him. Railings at 100 to 1 gets beaten half lengths, and it was a great run. But just to me, not the strongest Derby we've ever seen outside of the winner. I think he's tough.
Well, he's obviously been consistent all the way through the winner. Stella Grande, you know, he ran a great race. He had him cold on the turn, but it was just a beautiful ride by Corey Brown that got the winner home. I'm inclined to agree. I don't know if there's any quality performers there outside the winner, but don't underestimate that third horse, Railings. I thought he did a
tremendous job.
He's only a lightly raced Sabille, and I don't know whether he'll continue on to Queensland or what. But
I forget about excellent too. Just forget it. If he doesn't handle the track, just forget it.
At Randwick, the Group 3 Sapphire Stakes is next, where Tivoli Dancer and Steph Lara are equal top raters. Glamour Puss and Shannon Bank, 4, 8, 2 and 7 for the ratings. And down the board at Randwick, there's no sign of any activity in the mounting yard at this stage. Randwick, it's been a drifter here on course, and it's heading out towards the $5 mark. Glamour Puss, number 2. She was allowed to drift out early on, but they have come for a late. 3:30 on the TAB, still better than that here at Randwick. The other two main...
Zakynthos Star from a whitish alley jump with gusto, getting out well Tivoli Dancer. Tata Tatiana right there. Staflar is improving, followed closely by Glamour Puss. Wild Queen going in this order. Staflar the outside, Zakynthos Star the inside, Tatiana third, and then Wild Queen with my going up on the rails, and Glamour Puss is still out very wide. Wild Queen is over on the inside of it as Tata Tatiana lost some ground. They straighten up now, and over the rise they travel. Staflar is under siege. Glamour Puss is dashed to the front, and to the 200. Glamour Puss a length with my along the rail to second. Forgets Staflar. Wild Queen's gone to third, but it is Glamour Puss in front with my second, and they're clear of Wild Queen, but Glamour Puss is holding on to a half-length break from With My, and Glamour Puss completes a double for Danny O'Brien and Steve King in beating With My and Wild Queen. Then Staflar followed home by Tata Tatiana, Zakynthos Star Amana, Tivoli Dancer, Shannon Bank, and Absolute was Free Roller. Big win.
So hopefully put the speed on and give her a chance to get her home over the top of them. She's got a really good finish.
We're at Randwick today, and race 9 is the Adrian Knox Stakes for 3-year-old fillies. Pleasure Ground, Ponte Piccolo, Clevedon and Twisted Heart, 8, 1, 6 and 3. And of course, this is a very important lead up to the AJC Oaks. Ponte Piccolo, $4.40 tops. Twisted Heart and a few others in commission, including Clevedon, number 6, and Pleasure Ground, number 8.
20, the favourite, Ponte Piccolo, but in the ring, it is favourite, round about the same as the tote quote. They're ready. And the racing. Twisted Heart from the inside jumped out well. Villa bled away nicely, and so too was Pleasure Ground. Not far away is Tiny Bell, followed closely by Ponte Piccolo, Far East Sunset, and then Zago, and gee, that's tops. A length of Me, Lynn, and Don't Tell Clang scouting wider out from Lightly Dusted. Piccolo a trifle wide from Zago. Little more than a length, Far East Sunset. Don't Tell Clang is wider out. Followed over on the inside, gee, the inside of Ponte Piccolo, and then comes Don't Tell Clang, has been wide from the word go. On the insiders brings up the rear. They're at the 600 in the last here at Randwick, and they're starting to close in on this leader. Villa Bled, Pleasure Ground, Twisted Heart, second and the third. Ponte Piccolo making a run. Don't Tell Clang's never been on the track. Zago over on the inside, Far East Sunset, and then comes Tiny Bell. Gee, that's tops looking for room, and there's a mile of it now as they fan wide around the corner, and Don't Tell Clang, it's never been on the track, and the Queenslander in company with Ponte Piccolo race well clear, and down to the 250. 150. Don't Tell Clang put a length on Ponty Piccolo. About 4 lengths to Clevedon's Go Fiery Sunset. But as they come to the 120 marker, and Don't Tell Clang is starting to shift off the track. But this has been an outstanding effort. And down to the line goes Don't Tell Clang to beat Ponty Piccolo and Clevedon. Then Fiery Sunset followed home then by Meelin, Gabs a Go. Then Gee That's Tops, Twisted Heart for Sconte Danex, followed by Tiny Bell, and then Villa Bled, lightly dusted, a long, long margin to Pleasure Ground, and Absolute was Amy Be Good. That is an outstanding win. Don't Tell Clang.
Okay, Matty, it's been a terrific day, and I hope everybody out there's enjoyed our coverage. And back to winner. Yep, good on you.
Sunset home then by Meelin.
Yeah, Sean Dwyer, the trainer, and a pickup ride for Georgie Scamoni. Ponty Piccolo second and Clevedon third.
Yeah, I like the second filly. It was her first go on a wet track. She's inexperienced. She had a big weight. She tackled the distance for the first time. She'll be better on top of the ground. I think she's way above average.
Well, I'm not sure that these are great fillies.
I'm not saying there's potential there with a few of them.
Yeah, there is potential there, but...
Morning which way they go, but it's a great story with George Scamone. Digger McClellan was stood down. He couldn't take the ride. Sean Dwyer went in the jockeys' room, looked at a couple of jockeys. They weren't real keen. Next thing, Georgie said, oh, well, I'm here. Look, if you want me to, I will. And next thing, he's winning the Adrian Knox.
Perhaps they shouldn't have the tote prices in the jockeys' room.
Good one.
It had 52 kilos and it was in the last. They'll get a bit thirsty.
Put it this way. The two jockeys that Sean approached, I don't think they're going to get on Dwyer's horses in the future.
And I'll tell you what, the two jockeys he approached had success during the day too.
Back from Japan. I didn't know he was there. Well done, Andrew. Thanks for that. Now, let's turn our attention to Perth and to the listed Melvista Stakes. And the WATC Derby winner Plastered back to the winners list here.
Going for a run between horses, 2 lengths away, then Zinder. Action Plans on the rail at the 300, and now Plastered goes out after King's Carnival and Master Minx, and he grabbed the lead. 150 to go. Plastered's in front. Master Minx over on the fence is going to make him stretch his neck, but Plastered's clear. It's Plastered from Master Minx. Plastered finishing too well, and the Victoria Derby winner too good for them. Plastered beat Master Minx. Game run. Photo third, King's Carnival.
Yep, Plastered defeating Master Minx and King's Carnival.
Well, I'm very disappointed about that because I wanted to see Plastered in Sydney in the AJC Derby, not running in a 2200 metre race in Perth, right? And I know they had their reasons for doing that, and the trainer, that has been his plan all along. He stated it, but gee, you know, that Derby in Sydney, Stella Grande. If you'd have told Lee Friedman 4 weeks ago Stella Grande would get to within half a length of winning the Derby in Sydney, he probably would have had a little laugh behind his hand. But, you know, there's arguably the best staying 3-year-old in the country, and he's not there.
Yeah, look, at the same time, if he would have come over here for the AJC Derby, he would have had to face a wet track for the first time. There would have been a few little negatives there, but I see your point. I see your point. I thought he was still a little dour there. Second up 2200, just grinding away. Obviously, it was a handicap and he had 58 kilos, though, but he should win the Western Australian Derby, shouldn't he?
Which is coming up soon.
Yes.
Next week when we're doing the Sydney Cup program from here, we've got a special on Silent Witness. Now, just tell us about him. What is he, 15 for 15 up there?
Yeah, he's 15 starts undefeated. He's a wonderful, wonderful horse. Probably the best shoulder we've ever seen on a horse in Hong Kong, and he just runs other horses into the ground. You can see here he's just cruising along. He'll suddenly Felix will just kick him up a little bit, the ears will go forward, and he'll extend and just win.
Well, he does it there, but will we ever see him do it away from Shatin?
Oh, look, I hope we do. I think he'll probably go to the Champions Mile. He'll run in the 1200 next week, which will give him 16 from 16. He'll go to a 1400 metre race on the same day as the QE2, and then hopefully after that Japan for the Ishida Canal.
Australian bred too, by the way. You could have bought him in Australia for not so much. Mark, great to have you here. And
40 to 1, all 11. There's the betting. Joint favourites, Alexander Goldrun and Right Approach at 4 to 1. Al Qaeda 6 to 1. 7 to 1, the Godolphin representative Sights on Goal. The Australian Elfstrom is 8 to 1. 12 to 1, Majors Cast. Prince Kirk 14 to 1, along with H Fly.
underway, racing in the Dubai Duty Free and Right Approach and Wolf Whistle. Two of the South Africans were slow to begin. Elvstrom, the Australian, hopped out brilliantly and has raced across the face of the field to go to the lead. Sights on Gold came out quickly. Shark Kiss began well. Willie go at the field. Elvstrom trying to slow the pace, travelling down the side of the course. Led by a half length, the American Willie second. Sights on Gold third, breathing down the neck of the leaders. Deep, the Turkish filly Raybella is second last, and Major's Cast whipped them in with 700 metres left to travel, coming under the bend in the Dubai Duty Free. Elvstrom against the rail showed the way into the straight. Willie on the outside. Shark Kiss's black cap is looming up. Sights of Gold looking for a run through on the rail. Right approach behind them with Prince Kirk, and Sir Haley is coming right down the centre of the track. Elvstrom in front of the 300 metres mark from Willie. Sights of Gold, Prince Kirk and El Kadim on the outside, but it's as straight as Elvis. Elvstrom in front, 150 metres left to go. Willie's in second spot, but he won't catch Elvstrom. Elvstrom coming away for Down Under Glory. Elvstrom beat Willie, right approach third. Then El Kadim, Prince Kirk, Alexandra Gold Run, Moon Dazzle, Major's Cast, Raybella, Sir Haley, Shark Kiss, followed home by Wolf Whistle, Key of Destiny, and Sights on Gold got tired and came in amongst the cap catchers.
The first Australian winner on Dubai World Cup night. They've had some disappointments in the past, but tonight, courtesy of a fine 4-year-old Elvstrom and a canny ride from Nash Rawiller, they're celebrating success. The Elvstrom Syndicate, trained by Tony Vazel, this 4-year-old son of Danehill, has won the Dubai Duty Free, setting his own pace. Nash Rawiller, he'll take the credit for a
horse. Elvstrom, an absolute class horse, and he's gone to the line, and like a really class horse to do what he did. It was a fabulous win, a great Australian win. That'll be plastered all over newspapers, and it'll be on news services all through the night and tomorrow. It's a wonderful victory. There's a big kitty involved here.
Absolutely. They'll have $1.2 million first prize for this Dubai Duty Free to play with. And Elvstrom, who they're talking about campaigning, as you say, around the world, races like the QE2 Cup in Hong Kong, the Lockinge Stakes in England, races like the Prince of Wales at Royal Ascot at York this year. He's a tremendous horse to go to battle with.
Tremendous individual, isn't he? I mean, physical specimen, and syndicated, as I was saying, for 15 million Australian dollars. He's certainly going to, I think, go on and make his mark at stud as well.
Elvstrom upstaging Derby Day, but he's certainly done that overnight. But
well, they might be. It's a great effort to be able to take a horse overseas and knock off horses from the local horses and all horses that have travelled there to beat you. But he got to the front, railed up beautifully. It's a long straight in there at Nat Al Sheba, and Nash just sat on him and then produced in the last 400 metres, and Elvstrom was packing too many guns by that stage, and they couldn't run him down.
They came from the outside. He'd lost weight on the flight over there, I'm told, and of course, you know, wasn't there a problem? Allegedly a heart problem after his lead-up run?
I think there was a few little niggle problems, and I don't think Tony was happy with the ride, but I'm pretty sure he'll be happy with that ride. Hard to find a pub in Dubai. I'm tipping they'll find one, though.
Oh, they found one, don't worry. I spoke to him about an hour and a half after the race overnight, and they were already drinking Foster's, so don't worry about that.
Must be in the hotel room.
They found it somewhere. The crucial thing is here, the first 800 metres of this race was covered in 53 seconds.
Yeah.
That was a lot slower than the Australian Cup.
You're not wrong there. And I'll tell you what, I bet Tony Vazel would have loved to have had the Australian Cup rerun.
Run it as many times as you like.
Look, hey, Richard, no one's disagreed because, you know, it didn't win. But, look, it had an easier run, and that's what we were referring to, which brought about an ordinary performance in the Australian Cup, based on what we know he's capable of, but take nothing away from him there. And, look, it's just wonderful, absolutely wonderful for Australian racing.
It certainly is. Whereas for the Doncaster, courts in... Well, how open is this? Courts in session, winning Bel Al Mahar under double figures with Ike's Dream. Big day, of course, tomorrow in Sydney, and, of course, at...
Doncaster Handicap is the next race here at Randwick. Al Mahar, a rating special. Ike's Dream, Winning Bell and Desert War, 14, 8, 11 and 1. And I can tell you that the market has just been put up on track. The on-course favourite is Winning Bell, number 11, but there's plenty of hopes. Desert War, courts in session. Session, Ike Stream, and also in the market, Almaher. They're all given hopes. All right, let's catch up with Guy Walter. He's got a couple of runners in the big mile.
Well, Guy, you've certainly got some great chances in the big one today, the Doncaster. Big history making for you. Will equal Tommy.
Again, a little bit in class, but he's John Cornell, foreman, tells me the horse has done quite well since that, so...
Racing in the Doncaster Handicap, Danny Martin getting back in the early stages with Pateza and Charnwood Green. Courts in session, the early leader from Oscar Warrior, Almaher, followed by Modem, and then a break of a length and a half to Winning Bell. Handedly placed the heavily backed favourite, Charnwood Green, and Pateza is last. Courts in session, claps on the speed on the first corner. 3/4 Oscar Warrior, 3 away third Modem, then Almaher, 2.5 Winning Bell. This man should off the track, Desert War, then Utzon, followed by Chewy Song. Length and a half further back is Toulouse-Lautrec, and Ike Streams in that pack of horses too, followed by Sky Cuddle, 2.5 then to Natural Blitz, Danny Martin, Charnwood Green and Pateza. Courts in session and Oscar Warrior. They race away on the Doncaster, 600 to go, 6 lengths clear of Modem, followed over on the inside Almaher, a length and a half Desert War, followed by Winning Bell, and then comes Chewy Song, and then This Man Should, Ike Streams, Sky Cuddle, Natural Blitz, and then Danny Martin and Pateza. Homeward Bound, Courts in session, up the rise, a length and a half on Oscar Warrior, 2.5 to Desert War, Almaher, Utzon, Winning Bell, Ike Stream, and then Chewy Song and Sky Cuddle. Courts in session, still in front, 200 to go on the Doncaster. Courts in session, a couple clear, they're starting to peg him back. Here's the stablemate Pateza and Danny Martin wide out, but Pateza hits the front. Pateza's Doncaster from Courts in session, Danny Martin, and on the inside Utzon, followed by Ike Stream, Toulouse-Lautrec, Desert War, Sky Cuddle, Almaher, Chewy Song, then Charnwood Green, Winning Bell, followed by Oscar Warrior, Modem, This Man Should, and Natural Blitz has come in at the tail of the field.
Walter has trained the trifecta, an unbelievable training feat here this afternoon. Pateza has got the money. Courts in session went to the front. They were going at a pretty good clip. Gay Waterhouse pulled off this feat a few years back in the Golden Slipper when she trained first, second and third, but to do it in the Doncaster Handicap, one of the hardest races to win in Australia, it is just an amazing feat. We really are speechless here this afternoon.
Trifecta in the Doncaster, your wildest dreams, you'd never imagine it.
No, I didn't imagine it, Chris. I didn't imagine it. I said before the race I was worried about Pateza at a mile. I've said that all week. And actually his owner, Patrick Shanahan, should take a lot of credit because he's been talking about the Doncaster for 12 months and he's got a stubborn trainer. I thought of him more as a sprinter. So I was proved wrong, thankfully.
1 minute we're declaring Courts in session the winner, and Pateza, Danny's timed its run to perfection. Yes. And then you've got Danny Martin flashing into third. Yes. Could you actually take it all in?
Not really. I still can't at the moment.
Guy, congratulations. Well done. At run, did you feel confident of catching the leader?
I was really confident the half mile, and just the fact that I'd done no work, and when I could see presenting the turn, they'd gone that hard, and they started to open up, but it was just... I had a lot of luck in the race, but, geez, it was a very impressive effort.
Were you aware that Guy had actually trained the trifecta on the way back? Did you all swap notes?
I knew that I'd run the Quinella with Guy, but, yeah, there's no better trainer than him. You know, he shows every...
Good on you, Guy. Pateza, Courts in session, an extraordinary run to battle on for second, and Danny Martin third. How good a trainer is this man?
Well, what can you say? We'll never see this again. Well, not while we're live anyway, but look, he's raced well at 1500, this horse, in When Wait for Age Company. I couldn't see any reason to doubt him at a mile, and a lovely ride here by Nick Leckie. He found the gaps at the right time. You have to feel for the second horse. He was softened up, but that's the position he puts himself
in. Softened up? He was softened up. He was absolutely hammered, and not... You know, I know Glenn Boss was upset about it, that Oscar Warrior had sat out. Oscar Warrior, wasn't it? Had sat outside him and just hammered along with him in the lead and forced Courts in session to go harder than he would have gone normally, I expect. But I felt sorry for him. I think he's a super horse. Courts in session, deserves to have won a Doncaster. Nothing against Pateza, good horse in good form at the moment, but he's no Courts in session. and Danny Martin. I made that the training performance of the autumn, though.
Yeah.
Of all the great training performances, Gay had a magnificent autumn. Lee had a good autumn. Paul Perry had a good autumn, and so many others did.
You won't beat that.
That was the training performance of the autumn.
It'd be ideal for the Stradbroke, I would have thought, too.
And Graham, yes, Guy Walter has confirmed this morning that Patezza will be going for the Stradbroke at 54. We'll have a freshen up before going to Brisbane. But the
ratings for the next event, let's have a look. $250,000 AC console. Shinzig and Legendary Man has come up very short on the TAB. He's around double his TAB price on course. And Tony Brassel's about to join me to have a look at these runners. Tone, we start with E-Console. He has been improving with each run this time in. But first things first, and it's the South Pacific Classic Group 3 for 3-year-olds worth 200.
Dane and Shinzig out well. Vianetto and Anchoretta right up there in the early part. Trazavot is improving ground with Legendary Man and Gator. And trapped side they run 700 ahead of them, and Anchoretta leads one of its stablemate Shania Dane a length. Third is Shinzig, followed the fence Trazavot, followed by Vianetto. Legendary Man. Abdication caught out very wide, followed by E-Consul. Kiss My Fuji. Swick has passed one, and that is Gator. Around the corner, and some of these jockeys are getting right away from the rails and setting sail up the rise now. Anchoretta half length on Shania Dane. Shinzig. Legendary Man coming down the outer. Vianetto closer in, followed by E-Consul and Trazavot, and then Swick. Plenty of hopes here down to the 200. Shania Dane beat off Anchorette. Legendary Man out after Shania Dane, and Swick closer in. It's Shania Dane in full flight, however, they can't get anywhere near her. Shania Dane well clear of Swick, and Shania Dane wins well from Swick. Third Legendary Man, and fourth Shinzig, and then Kiss My Fuji, Vianetto, E-Consul, followed by Gator. Anchorette knocked up and beat a couple to the line, and they were Abdication and Trazavot. Shania Dane, number 11, $7 a win and $2.30 a place. 7
favourite on course with Anchorette, number 4, and the winner's time was 1:23.53. The gates at Randwick for race 4, and they'll be moving in shortly. Let's get the late mail from Ron Dufficy.
The Group 2 Emancipation Stakes, race 4 here, Randwick. The numbers are 1, 3, 4 and 8. Gee, this mare caught the eye last start. Demerger, first up.
They're off.
First up.
They're off. Nice level start too. Waterwise was out well, and the same for Uprise, commencing speedily, cost to nothing. Not far away as they settle in a bound, and on the inside Forum Floozy. Length at 100. No variation whatsoever here, and Waterwise the leader. 3/4 of a length, cost to nothing. Wide a third is in a bound. Forum Floozy is fourth. Then Uprise, followed by Perfect Promise, Demerger, Canondar Queen, hard ridden. She's lost some ground. And a couple further off is Chewy Song into the straight, and Waterwise from cost to nothing and in a bound, and then Forum Floozy. Perfect Promise is navigating a passage, and she's coming up on the outside of the early leader Waterwise, and here's Uprise coming down the outer. Perfect Promise goes through to hit the front. On the outside, Uprise is matching her though. A race in 2. On the inside, Perfect Promise at Uprise. The outside from Chewy Song. Perfect Promise at Uprise as they go to the line. Oh, this is a head up and a head down. We got Uprise with Perfect Promise. Terrific finish, and Chewy Song's run third. Good go for fourth. Past the post when I got there. Inner bounds there. Canondar Queen Demerger not far away. Followed over on the rail Waterwise. Good margin off then. Was cost to nothing, and Forum Floozy came in at the tail of proceedings. Photo. Real head bobber here. We've got Perfect Promise on the inside and Uprise. Uprise and Perfect Promise. Let's have a look at this free shot. Well, the nose on the inside horse, Perfect Promise, has gone down on the line. That's the free. It was a pickup ride for Blake Shin, and he's got a home ahead of Uprise and Chewy Song. 8, 3, 5 and 2. Now here's Randwick, the Group 1, AJC Australian Oaks for the fillies, and jockeys are up. They're about to head out. Hollow Bullis is the tote favourite at 3.10. Other hopes are Lateria, She's Just a Tad, Dazelle, and Don't Tell Clang is there at 8.60. And there's the other fillies there at healthy odds. Len Beasley is riding Lateria, just beaten by Hollow Bullet in the Arrow Field last start. Lateria led that day. Hollow Bullet sat off her and claimed her in the last little bit. She's... And the racing. And one of the best to break the line was Don't Tell Clang. Lotteria jumped out nicely, as did going up very, very quickly Ponte Piccolo and Nevis. Now, as they go past the judge on the first occasion, and Lotteria leads narrowly from her stablemate. That's Ponte Piccolo. Nevis makes a line of 3 a length. The Hollow Bullet getting into 1 out. Nice piece of riding by Boss. It's around past the 1,000 marker, and Lotteria's a length and a half clear on Nevis. Third, Ponte Piccolo, followed by on the inside, But I'm Serious, Hollow Bullet, Clevedon wider out. She's Just a Tad is making a run now, followed then by Me Lynn Dazelle. Then Don't Tell Clang. Over on the inside, next is Cincinnati Gal. Gee, that's Top's Command Decision, and a good margin to Danex and My Tusker. They're bunching up now. Along to the 600 marker, Lotteria a half length on Nevis. A length of She's Just a Tad, making a line of 3. Ponte Piccolo, Hollow Bullet being ridden desperately by Boss. Then Cincinnati Gal, Clevedon, Me Lynn and But I'm Serious. Lotteria first for home in the Oaks, about a length and a half. Second Posse is Nevis. Third, She's Just a Tad. Cincinnati Gal followed by Ponte Piccolo. To the 200, Lotteria under the whip, the leader. She's Just a Tad on the outside. Cincinnati Gal followed then by Hollow Bullet grinding away. Ponte Piccolo's dropped off, but She's Just a Tad races to the front. On the outside, coming home late is Gee, that's Top. She's Just a Tad in front. Look at Dazelle. Dazelle will blow him all the way. Dazelle got it. Freakish run over the last 100. Dazelle has beaten She's Just a Tad and Gee, that's Tops from Hollow Bullet in company with Ponte Piccolo, and then came Lotteria. My Tin Posse is Nevis. Third, She's Just a Tad. Cincinnati Gal followed by Ponte Piccolo. To the 200, Lotteria under the whip, the leader. She's Just a Tad on the outside. Cincinnati Gal followed then by Hollow Bullet grinding away. Ponte Piccolo's dropped off, but She's Just a Tad races to the front. On the outside, coming home late is Gee, that's Top. She's Just a Tad in front. Look at Dazelle. Dazelle will blow him all the way. Dazelle got it. Freakish run over the last 100. Dazelle has beaten She's Just a Tad and Gee, that's Tops from Hollow Bullet in company with Ponte Piccolo, and then came Lotteria, My Tusker and Clevedon. Further off on the run then came Nevis, Command Decision, Me Lynn, followed by Don't Tell Clang, Cincinnati Gal, and the last 2 in were But I'm Serious and Denix. That was a freakish finish over the concluding stages, with Dazelle finishing like a whirlwind, and she's taken the AJC Australian Oaks. Number 4, Dazelle Brown, successful in the Derby on Saturday, and he's taken out the Oaks here this afternoon. Dazelle, number 4, ridden by Corey Brown.
I don't think I've ever seen a horse finish that fast over 2,400.
No, the further she goes, the better she'll be. You know, I mean, that was always been a forte, but she appreciated the ground, and but look, it was just a great effort.
Take a break and be back just there. Dazelle beat She's Just a Tad. I think Larry Cassidy thought he might have had it, but all of a sudden, Dazelle just appeared and grabbed
Dazelle, and even Ron was saying thought it'd be very good for the Oaks. Now, I want you to watch this. We're going to freeze frame this. This was, I think, the most extraordinary performance over the Autumn Carnival. Dazelle is...
She's Just a Tad races to the front. On the outside, coming home late is Gee, that's Top. She's Just a Tad in front. Look at Dazelle. Dazelle will blow him all the way. Dazelle got it. Freakish run over the last 100. Dazelle has been...
Well, Ian's right. It was freakish.
Freakish.
I still not can believe my eyes. No. Dazelle from Just a Tad and Gee, that's Tops.
Look, this was the performance of the whole carnival. I don't care what anyone says. She just picked herself off the canvas here. I know they weren't going quick to the line, but to get held up in long races, in staying events, and to pick yourself back up after being hampered is just an unbelievable performance. Special mention to this second filly, Just a Tad. She pulled her head off, which is uncharacteristic, I thought, but I thought there was a lot of merit in her performance as well, but how can you take anything away from this winner?
It couldn't win there, could it?
It could not.
It could not possibly win there. It was a magnificent performance. Best of the 3-year-olds this spring. I've still got Makybe Diva's defeated Grand Army as the performance of the autumn.
We forget quick, don't we?
Yeah, but this was magnificent. This filly's going places. It's going to win a decent race. Of all the fillies around at the moment, of all the 3-year-olds around at the moment, I think it's the most likely one to go on as a 4- and 5-year-old and win a big, big race.
And famous colours too.
Yes, those of Doremus.
Doremus, yeah. Okay, now...
It's their Spark of Life, still favourite, 380 New South Wales. Impaler's tightened a little bit to 8.
So they have spec'd it,
Star of Florida, it has drifted, well, about 11 points in the ring, so there's absolutely no money there. Impaler, it's out 4 points, so it's doubled its odds. Charge Forward is also a drifter, out some 4 points. Red Oog is all about 1 point. Snippet Sun, as I said, out about 3. Most of the others have eased, and the favourite, still very firm, is number 1, Spark of Life. They're getting around.
And they're off this time. That was a great start. Spark of Life in company with Star of Florida out well. Charge Forward right there. And booting through is Impaler, not all that far away as they settle fully into stride. And Old Bomber Bill is a conspicuous last segment's well back as they race along the side. Star of Florida the outside, headed by Spark of Life. 2 lengths away. Third is Impaler, followed closely then by Hidden Dragon. Segments has gone up wider out. Snippet Sun, then Charge Forward. Alcavera, Tycoon, Red Oog, Legally Bay, Wager and Bomber Bill is a tailed off last around the corner. The favourite Spark of Life, just the leader from Star of Florida, a length and a half to Snippet Sun, followed by Hidden Dragon. Segments and Charge Forward on the outside. Spark of Life accelerating, they're coming at him. Here's Charge Forward down the outside and Tycoon nearer to the inside, but Charge Forward raced up to Spark of Life, who won't surrender. Charge Forward's got his nose in front and Charge Forward wins the Galaxy. Charge Forward from Spark of Life, nothing between Red Oog and the Segments for third. Alquavera raced through on the inside, followed by Bomber Bill, Snippet Sun, Tycoon, Hidden Dragon, Wager Legally by Star of Florida, and coming in last Impaler. Charge Forward, number 7, 11.90 and 3.80, has taken out race number 8 today. Charge Forward, ridden by Darren Beedman.
Spark of Life and Red Oog, 7, 1 and 8. The presentation is
Charge Forward, and congratulations to John O'Shea. We're just going to have a look at this, Ron. Is that Bomber Bill back at the tail?
Bomber Bill, look, old Bomber here, tailed off, pulling out the outside fence here. But this is a fantastic achievement from John O'Shea. The pressure was on him. This horse
scratch it, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they've bought this horse as a stallion prospect. They had to win a Group 1. Well, they didn't have to, but they were looking forward. No, looking forward to winning a Group 1 with him. And
he went from being an $8,000 service fee to about a $22,000 service fee with 1 win, and this was it. What a beauty.
I'm wondering if they'll travel that horse.
I think he's going straight to stud now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going straight to stud Arrowfield for 22.5 plus GST.
Yeah, just a little whisper there, Royal Ascot or something.
Oh, hello. Have you had a little whisper?
No. I think half of them want to go and half of them don't want to go.
You mischievous little bugger. You're making trouble.
You hear some rumours at the sales, you know.
Oh, yes, you do, Dad. Oh, yes, you do, Dad.
Hey, Ronnie, I'll check.
Time-honoured Frank Packer Place. This is a wonderful race. It's been a great launching pad for some 3-year-olds over the years, including the great Might and Power, who won it a few years back before going on to claim the big cups in the spring. This year we've got the Derby winner, Eramine, backing up. He's a rating special. Absolutely amazing. The Frank Packer Plate trophy. It's a perpetual trophy that's held by the club. Tony Brassel is joining me as these 3-year-olds parade for the Percy Marks Frank Packer Plate of 2,000 metres, who of course was the Derby winner last weekend.
He's the measuring stick, isn't he? Been on the job.
Look, I've never sat on the horse's back. Going off his pace.
The Packer Plate on the inside, jumping out cleanly was Special Voyage. Monterico hopped out well. So did Power of War. Magnetism not far away, and Afra's improving. Then Break the Barrier, followed by the favourite Eramine. Ulysses caught out very wide, then Roving as they come on the side and go past the 800 marker, and Afra a length and a half on Ulysses, followed by Special Voyage, then Monterico, length and a half further back Power of War, and then comes on the inside Magnetism. Eramine is back about midfield and 7 or 8 lengths off the lead, followed then by Roving Owl, Break the Barrier, Cambridge Sobrain. Second last is Special Times, and Still Absolute is High C. Down to the turn, 500 ahead of them here at Afra. D. Beasley taking her about 3 horses off the inside rail, straightens up a length and a half. Power of War wide out, closer in was Special Voyage, followed by Magnetism, and then Ulysses. Monterico dropping off, and Eramine is next on the inside of Roving Owl, but Afra's got a pretty handy break. 150 to go, Afra. This model of consistency. Clear of magnetism. They're not getting anywhere near Afra, and she lands some nice wages to win the Packer Plate. Afra from Magnetism at Eramine, followed by Roving Owl. Further back in the field then came Power of War, followed in special times Cambridge High Sea, and then Break the Barrier Ulysses Sobrain, Monterico and Special Voyage near enough to lust.
That's where goals are. Should the putters be concerned about the weight that will to your the weight that will to your friend, His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Hussein Lutar? Is that a big day again?
Oh, absolutely. This is a great win for this filly. Gee, she's only little, but she's all heart, Afra. When the stablemate Monterico didn't want to lead, then I thought, well, this is the ideal situation for Afra, because she's going to get a soft lead, control the race as she pleases, and you know she's tough over the last couple of 100 metres, and so it proved to be. So, well done, Afra. This is a really good little filly. I just think at some stage her size is going to limit her, but it'll be a while before it does.
Oh, after she turns 3, that's for sure. Because I told you last week, she's top class. I know she had the favours here, but you've got to consider she went from 1,200 to a mile to 2,000 metres here. Look, she's a terrific filly, She's all heart and knows how to win. Just look at the record. It speaks for itself. Magnetism, look, he tried hard. He just out-sprinted by the filly. Likewise with Eramine, coming back from the Derby and being a sprint home probably went against him, but he'll probably spell now anyway.
The first of them is for the 2-year-olds. It's the Champagne Stakes, and the youngsters stepping up to 1,600 metres. Checking the ratings in the Champagne, and the top scorer, Fashions of Field and Media, the 2 fillies. A few Victorians up here, including Danger Looms and Under the Floor, but the main ones in commission, Under the Floor there at $7.90, and then we get down to Fashions of Field, $2.50, and Media at $4.50 for Bob Thompson. On track, it's Fashions of Field favourite ahead of Written Tycoon, second pick, and so they're in the process of loading them up. The Group 1 Champagne Stakes. Here's Ian.
And the racing in the Champagne, that was a magnificent start. Media is one of the early leaders with Carry On Cutie. Fashions of Field is nice and handy, followed by Written Tycoon. Astronomia very wide out, followed closely by Paratroopers, then Replicator, followed by Under the Floor, and sandwiched up between those is Johnny. And then Danger Looms, followed by Power of Destiny, Miss Innocence. Over on the inside next is Miss Innocence, Power of Destiny next to last, and Flora Danica brings up the rear. In the Champagne, they come down the side, they're stringing out. Media in front, a length and a quarter. Second is Astronomia. Third, the favourite Fashions of Field. Carry On Cutie is fourth. Followed on its outside, Paratroopers. 2 lengths to Under the Floor. Replicator, then Written Tycoon. A length Danger Looms. Johnny followed well back by Power of Destiny, Miss Innocence, and Flora Danica Absolute. They're homeward bound, and it's Media. First into the Randwick straight, a length and a half. Fashions of Field going after Media. 2 lengths to Astronomia. Carry On Cutie, but Fashions of Field hits the front. 2:50 to go. Fashions of Field. Race clear of Media. Carry On Cutie is hanging out, and 2 lengths to Written Tycoon. Fashions of Field in front. Carry On Cutie's a real threat. Carry On Cutie raced up to the favourite, headed her off, and Carry On Cutie draws away to win the Champagne from Fashions of Field. Third, Posse Media. Fourth, Flora Danica. Then came Danger Looms, Power of Destiny, Astronomia. Further off then was Johnny, Written Tycoon, Replicator, Paratroopers, Under the Floor, and Miss Innocence came in at the tail of proceedings. And the winner is number 10, Carry On Cutie, ridden by Lenny Beasley.
Very impressive last start winner. Grundy's Crossing. Will you try and ride it similar? We probably will, Alf.
Big odds, Carry On Cutie at $26. Graham Rogerson, Lenny Beasley aboard. Fashions of Field second, Media was third.
In retrospect, she was over the odds.
Well and truly.
We've always liked this filly. I think me and you agree on it. She's got plenty of determination. Just going from 1,200 to a mile on an affected track, but I think the winning move was taking the blinkers off. I don't think she needed them to start with.
They only put them on for one race. And
the only time she got beat.
Yeah, exactly. Record's 3 starts, 2 wins in a second.
Yeah. Look, and she may have ducked out into a bit of a fast lane out here, I think.
Yeah,
they just wandered into where the track was getting a little chopped up, but she would have beat them anyway. She's very strong. I like her for next preparation. She looks an Oaks type. I think she'll stay. Fashions of Field's done a great job all the way through. Just didn't finish the mile off here after a hard preparation. Media forced to lead, but she seemed to have a chance. Got a little rest up here. Look at this horse up the fence here, Flora Danica. Beautifully bred filly. She'll make it next prep. As a, you know, I just liked her run from an inexperienced type.
Blinkers came off her too, Flora Danica, so that was a move that worked for her. And now Carry On Cutie's record is 4 runs, 3 wins in a second, so she's got a great record. Well,
one question: 2-year-old of the year, Stratum or Fashions Afield?
Oh, it's got to be Fashions Afield, I would have thought.
No, I'll go Stratum, because when it's a 50-50, I think you've got to go with a slipper winner.
Yeah, I'll sit on the fence there. I don't think there's much in it.
You know, I think he's been very harshly done by the handicapper, and you really say he'd struggle today to win.
One that you missed out on last week, Modani finished second. Geez, a nice animal.
Yeah, you know, we talked about him last week, you know, just obviously, you know, he'll tell me.
House, she went close to winning the previous race, but her filly was cut down in the last little bit by Carry On Cutie. This is the second of
trading behind the barrier stalls for this prestigious race. Having a look at the honour roll displayed in the race book since 1960. Some wonderful horses. And the all-age field will be away at any moment. Harmony last to leave the gates. Other than that, a pretty good jump. Only Words, one of the leaders. Regal Roller taking it on with Falkirk. Plenty of pace early, then Platinum Scissors, followed by High Street Side now. And Falkirk and Regal Roller, with Falkirk about a neck on Regal Roller. 5 or 6 lengths Only Words, 2.5 Shamika, and a similar margin Our Egyptian Rain. They're stringing right out Platinum Scissors, Special Harmony and Kablamo. These 2 leaders have gone berserk in front here. They're cutting at each other. And on the outside, Falkirk, Regal Roller of the inside. Falkirk is very wide on the track. 5 to Only Words, 3 lengths Shamika, 2 are Our Egyptian Rain, 3 then Special Harmony. Platinum Scissors passed by Kablamo, straightening up. Falkirk is out under the roses. Regal Roller's up near the inside rail, shifting off same now, and Only Words is closing the gap with Shamika. Regal Roller taken on and headed by Only Words, Shamika, and Our Egyptian Rain is coming home well. The favourite in front, Only Words, Shamika coming at Only Words, clear of Our Egyptian Rain, but Shamika runs up to Only Words and beat her off, and Shamika wins the all-age from Only Words at Our Egyptian Rain, and then Kablamo, Regal Roller, followed by Platinum Scissors, Special Harmony, and Falkirk has come in a distressed last.
Doesn't seem to be a lot of pace in the race. Maybe Paternal goes forward. Could you race a little bit closer today?
She certainly did. Another one for Gay Waterhouse, Group 1. Same for Darren Beatman, Shamika, Only Words second, Our Egyptian Rain. Let's look at Kablamo. Now, you might like to explain a little bit about Falkirk.
Well, he's hard to explain, but I mean, he just jumped and locked his jaw yesterday. It's not as if it was an ambition to go out there and attack the lead. Look at him here.
He had a crossover noseband on yesterday to try and control him a bit better, but maybe he resented it and had a go at it.
Well, I think that's the obvious thing that's happened, because he hasn't been a hard-charging horse. Even in the 1,500-metre races, they haven't had a problem with him getting him back in the field. But I reckon he has dead set resented that gear change. Brave filly, this, and mare Shamika. She's won 3 or 4 Group 1s now.
Yeah, Coolmore Classic, the TJ Smith, and now this race as well. I'm in agreement with you. I think she's a great, tough mare. That I do have some sympathy for Only Words, though.
So do I.
She had to do all the hard work, basically dragging Shamika up to those 2 tearaway leaders, and just the last 50 metres, the needle was dipping below the empty mark. The light was on, and it was just enough for Shamika.
Rodney Quinn knew, because he was trying to cuddle her, and he knew he could smell Beedman behind him. You know?
As you do.
Right. What about Our Egyptian Rain?
Our Egyptian Rain, she went up to go straight past them and ducked in behind the leader again. I feel so sorry for her connections, because she's got the ability to run straight past horses like that, and she just hasn't got the intention of doing it. She'll go to stud, no doubt, at the end of this year, and you know there'll be no ducking out of that one. But but I'll tell you, she's a tragedy, because she's got the ability and just doesn't have the intention.
But race number 3 is coming up. It's the Queen Elizabeth Stakes at weight for age over 2,000 metres. Grand Army aiming to become the first horse since Tulloch back in the 60s to win the race in back-to-back years. It's been a while. Now let's check out the ratings for the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, and the top scorer is Grand Army, ahead of Savabeel, Toulouse-Lautrec and Desert War, 1, 11, 3 and 2. He's in the red here on course, I can tell you that. that. He's $2.20 on the TAB, but he is Dream and Savabeel are the only two at single figure odds, and both are unders there on the TAB at the moment. All right, let's have Me, champion horse, and he just loves Randwick.
He's on his home track, isn't he, man? And
Me is all the rage. $2 on the TAB, but still odds on here at Randwick, and there has been good support for
the racing. The favourite got the best of the jump, Grand Me. Second posse is taken by Savabeel, and Mummify's working forward, Del Zayo. And here's the Kiwi St Reem shooting around them from Toulouse-Lautrec, Simply Viv. A couple of lengths from the Queen Elizabeth as they work their way down the side of the track and come past the 950. And the free-going St Reem's a length and a half on Grand Army, right in touch with the Kiwi. 3 lengths away, third Del Zayo, followed by Mummify, Savabeel. Then Ike's Dream, Toulouse-Lautrec, followed by Vouvray, and 2 lengths Desert War, endeavouring to muster some speed. Second last is Simply Viv, and about 3 or 4 lengths to rise on. Past the 600 they go, and Grand Army is bridging the gap on St Reem's, and quickly the favourite hits the front. And as they commence the run around the home corner, it's Grand Army a length and a half, Del Zayo to second. Ike's Dream has worked up into third position, followed by Mummify, and then Vouvray closer to the inside, but Grand Army goes down to the 250 and booted away here. Grand Army put 2.5, Del Zayo, Ike's Dream, Mummify, Vouvray, but it's Grand Army in full flight, 120 to go. He's going to make it back-to-back successes here in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. Second posse, Del Zayo, but a wonderful horse. Grand Army wins again from Del Zayo, and then came Mummify, Vouvray, followed home by Toulouse-Lautrec. Then Ike's Dream and Desert War, Savabeel, Rise on St Reem's, and Simply Viv came in at the tail. A beauty. Grand Army, number 1, ridden by just how good Makybe Diva is. OK, in Grand Army's defence, he's probably better at 2,000 than he is at 2,400 when Makybe beat him in the BMW. But a great horse, and Hong Kong, here we come.
Mr. Peacock.
Andrew Peacock.
Andrew Peacock. I'm sorry for getting there, Andrew, but yeah, no, good man, good politician.
Yesterday, saying the Grand Army is the best horse she has ever trained. With good reason, I would assume too. $5 million in prize money, 13 wins, 13 places from 30 starts.
Been today, first time he's ever probably hit the bit on me, and got to the 600, and I was just trying to let that horse take me as far as I could go, but so from the 600 he just started towing me, and he's not a horse that you can like accelerate off a stand and start on him, so I just let him start getting into his stride, and he just powered away, went super.
Just toyed with his rivals. You know, if you take away Makybe Diva, the greatest mare we've seen probably in a long time, you think it's Grand Army. I mean, he over 2,000 metres, he's really unstoppable, isn't he?
Yeah, Grand Army, the favourite at $1.85. So impressive. Del Zayo, from the point of view maybe of a Doomben Cup run, trial. Nice run second. Mummify's third. Let's hear from Stephen King what he had to say about Del Zayo. Contenders they're on for the Brisbane Carnival.
Well, on paper, I'd think so, but geez, a very good ride by Danny Beasley. He was a bit tricky early, trying to get back and outside where he wanted to be, where he should have been in the BMW, but gee, that horse travelled so sweetly yesterday. He was always in control of that race, and to pick himself off the canvas after such a hard run in the BMW, he's just an iron horse, a champ, and he'll do us proud in Hong Kong. Del Zayo, first run for Robert Smurden. His 2,000 metre form's outstanding. Maybe he could be the surprise packet in the big Group 1s in Queensland. I don't know where they're headed. Oh, Mummify, he did a terrific job holding on well there, and Toulouse-Lautrec. Now look at this horse in the middle here, big, long, raw bone thing. I wonder if John Hawkes will train him like a 2-miler. I'd love to see him in a Brisbane Cup.
He's a big dow, one-pace sort of horse now, isn't he?
He just gives the impression that he's a real stayer.
Yeah. I like, look, you can't take anything away from this horse in front. He's one of the big 3 in Australia at the moment. We've got 3 great weight for age stars in Australia at the moment, and that's Elvstrom, Makybe Diva and Grand Army. I'd love to see them all in the one race, 2,000 metres somewhere, maybe 2,400, that would be good. But anyway, exactly, with a bit of speed on, that'd be lovely. But he's a superstar horse. Old Mummify did a great job, and I've always been a rap for Del Zayo. I always thought he's an outstanding horse. I have said it in the past. I couldn't understand why he was running in every single race that was on. now I think his program's been changed a bit. I want to take the early odds about him in the Doomben Cup.
Ooh. Well, don't jump on too early, Richard. Just hold up your horses. Definitely off for the spell. It's not going to Hong Kong. Number 5's off to Singapore. And Grand Army, it'll leave next week. And Douglas White already confirmed the Hong Kong jockey to take the ride against Elstrom.
And Richard, the big three that you mentioned, I gather you didn't actually put them in the correct order.
Oh, no particular order. You know what? I put them in different orders on different tracks under different conditions. That's how close I think they are.
Yeah, good point.
If Delzeo won a Stradbroke, would you consider that a major?
Yeah, but would he win a 1400 metre race?
Well, can we freshen up for that? I think he'd be storming home.
I like him at 2,000 metres. I like him in that Doomben Cup.
Got a good 2,000 metre form.
Oh, yeah.
Let's head
win there this afternoon, the Queen Elizabeth. All right, next up is the Sydney Cup. Gay won't be winning this one because she doesn't have a runner in the big 2-miler. Let's check out the ratings. They're with Martoom ahead of County Tyrone, Hugs Dancer and Pantani, 5, 2, 1 and 7. And runners are in the mounting yard for the Sydney Cup. It's due in 14 minutes' time. It's a very open affair, very open there on the TAB, though, as you can see. In fact, as we sum up there with the market order, we'll be interesting to see just who's holding the live from Randwick. The fourth of 4 Group 1s is coming up very soon. There's only a few to go in and they'll be ready for the 3,200 metre Sydney Cup. The favourite is Martoom for Kim Moore. Let's join
Sydney Cup. And immediately Dr. Lone goes out the back with Manawa King, and Martoom, the favourite, is the early leader from Don Rafael, and Philosoph improving. Hugs Dancers in 4th posse, followed by Special Scene. Over on the inside, My Chinese King, a couple of lengths further off, County Tyrone, Another Warrior. Then Pantani, Dr. Lone, followed by Manawa King, keeping company with Padfoot Charlie. Down to the home corner on the first occasion, and Philosoph on the inside is just the leader from Martoom, who's racing about 3 off the rails. My Chinese King tracks the leaders 3rd, and travelling 4th is Hugs Dancer. Oh, in trouble, Manawa King. He's broken down very badly in the off-hind. Oh, that is a tragedy. Manawa King has broken down. He's out of the race. Along the home section and come onto the high straight side, and it's Philosoph about 3/4 of a length. Martoom getting a little closer on the inside of the favourite is My Chinese King. Then Hugs Dancer, County Tyrone, Don Rafael, followed by Dr. Lone, Special Scene, Another Warrior, Pantani and Padfoot Charlie. They're bunching up now as they work along past the 600 in the Sydney Cup. And the leader is Philosoph. Dyer's getting very, very wide on him now. Martoom sitting at his girth. Over nearer to the inside, Dr. Lone from My Chinese King. Around them, County Tyrone and then Hugs Dancer. They set sail for the judge, and it's Philosoph on the inside and Martoom. They've raced 2 County Tyrone, followed by Hugs Dancer. It's Philosoph, Raymond Shane Dye, headed by Darren Beedman on Martoom, and then County Tyrone, Padfoot Charlie and Hugs Dancer. It's Martoom on the outside, getting the better of Philosoph, who won't give in without a fight, but the favourite Martoom holds Philosoph and County Tyrone, and Martoom wins the Sydney Cup. 2nd Philosoph and 3rd County Tyrone, then Padfoot Charlie, Hugs Dancer, Don Rafael, Another Warrior, Special Scene, Pantani. Coming in at long intervals then, My Chinese King and Dr. Lone, and unfortunately Manawa King broke down very badly in the off hind leg, just coming into the home straight on the first occasion. Martoom wins the Sydney Cup, $4 at $1.80, number 5.
The protest 3rd versus 2nd was upheld. New numbers 5 to 11. County Tyrone promoted to 2nd, and Philosoph was relegated to 3rd. 5 to 11.
Queen Elizabeth Stakes, but Martoom and Kim Moore stole the show. A great training achievement from a horse that's had, I don't know how many problems, and to pick that horse up the way she did, she deserves all the credit in the world.
It's into perspective what Ron was saying just a few moments ago regarding Martoom. It looked like being anything early in its career, didn't it? And had a broken pelvis.
Yeah,
then it came back, and I think it bowed a tendon.
Is that a ruptured flexor tendon, I think so? Yeah.
He's been through everything.
Talk about perseverance.
Well, yeah, he's obviously a horse with ability and deserved the perseverance, and Kim Moore...
Sydney Cup victory for Darren, believe it or not. County Tyrone 2nd, Philosoph was 3rd. That was a protest 3rd against 2nd was upheld.
Darren Beedman has had a magnificent autumn carnival in Sydney. He's ridden 5 Group 1 winners. I mean, that's just outstanding for any jockey. But I have to say, it was a brilliant ride on this horse, and I was worried when he went to the up outside the leader. I thought, oh, it's not where I'm used to seeing Martoom, and it was a winning move, so you've got to give Darren.
Well, have you ever seen a bad winning ride?
No.
Or maybe we will later.
Well, there is a possibility of that. But I have to say that County Tyrone, I reckon he's a bit like Mummified. He sort of gets 2 miles, but not really. And when you put enough weight on his back, he just doesn't.
Well, Chris Lees knows that. Yeah. That's why he set him for the chairman's. He said, I don't think he runs it right out, which he doesn't, but he's picking up big prize money running places in these races.
Sure. Now, there's a man who's had a good autumn. John Massara.
What?
Did you see the price on Redute's Choice for next season?
Yeah,
220,000.
I'm sorry.
And he doesn't justify it, you don't think?
Well, of course he does.
Yeah, he does. Now, listen, we are going to have a look at Makybe Diva's
three-quarter brother, he is.
Sorry, three-quarter brother, which went for $2.5 million.
By Redute's Choice out of Tugela, and this is a $2.5 million horse, can you believe that? And Bob Ingham bought it, and it'll go into the stable of John Hawkes, and he's a very happy man, Hawksy. Look at that. Yeah. You don't see him smile too often these days.
And so is Bob.
Good on Bob. He spent up big at the sales and he's promoting our industry. Yeah, good on him.
Nearly 9 million.
This was a very, very successful sales. How did you go?
Gianna says, I would be very grateful if Graham or Richard would ask Andrew Bensley what has become of Victorian female apprentice jockey Miss Tennille Gray. Can you tell us what's happened down there, Benz?
Tennille has just given birth to her first child. I can't remember, to be honest. I got a message from a mate down in Gippsland, but that's why she hasn't been riding. She's just had either well, obviously a boy or a girl.
You got that right. Generally the case. Well spotted there, Benz.
That's one of Graham.
Which is, you're on fire, Benz. And this one.
Fuse, and this is too good to miss. We're going on the Makybe Diva tour the day she runs in the Tenenshaw, the Emperor's Cup at Kyoto, and the details are there. Going to be found.
Alfie leading a tour. Why am I picturing hi ho? Hi
ho. Oh, you never know, Richard. We'll have a bit of fun anyway, so shut up, will you?
I'm sure you'll have fun.
On that note, I think it's appropriate to end the show.
Where's Cameron with the late mail?
Well, this is the big one of the day, the Mount Franklin WATC Derby, a classic event for 3-year-olds. Group 1, 2,400 metres, and we see the Victoria Derby winner in Plastered. We've marked him on top, numbers 1425.
I think he's off today, just to help him relax a little bit better in the run, and I don't think you have a problem.
The first WA 3-year-old to win the Victoria Derby in 150 years of racing, and now today becomes the shortest priced favourite in the history of the WA Derby. Now Zin for the 3-year-old Blue Ribbon Classic. And they're racing now, and Plastered left OK. Sir Grill was bustled out of the gates by King, and they're going to head off Master Minx. Danny Blue also going up there looking for the lead soon after the start. Zinder's going to speed over quickly now and also look for the front. The far bend going to the 900, and Zinder flying out by 10 lengths in the Derby. Sir Grill second. Over on the fence running third, Danny Blue from Master Minx, and Harvey has to go soon on Plastered. He's still a good dozen lengths off Zinder. They're being followed by Royal Drive getting off the fence to follow the favourite. King's Carnival starting to make up ground, and then came Miss Dance followed by Bicton. At the head of the others then came Action Plan, and Meadowdale is last of all, but the gauge is reading empty for Zinder. He put up the flag coming to the 400. Zinder about to be swamped by Master Minx, and here comes Plastered now with his run. Here's the big fellow cutting loose, and Plastered stormed to the front, 300 to go. Race 2 in front, the filly gets to second, Royal Drive, followed by King's Carnival. Master Minx and then Meadowdale. He's got the whip on Plastered inside the 150. He's a mile in front of them though. 6 lengths Royal Drive, followed by Master Minx, King's Carnival, but he racks up the Victoria WA Derby double with a brilliant win. Plastered by 6 Royal Drive, the Oaks filly second. On the fence, Master Minx might have got third from King's Carnival, followed home by Meadowdale of 2005. Plastered blasts them in the Derby. Number 1 is the winner by a huge margin. Plastered, Paul Harvey, has waltzed away with the Derby, the shortest priced favourite in the race's history.
Always sort of playing into our hands.
Certainly, yes, indeed. Plastered stay all day. Lindsay Smith, the trainer, the Pontiff Paul Harvey aboard, Royal Drive second, Master Minx third. Zinder went before acceptances were declared.
Yeah, well, once that speed went on in the race, I think the race was all over. I don't know if that's a usual pattern for Zinder or not. I can't remember the previous. He was on. This horse comes into his own. He's a real stayer. He's got a Melbourne Cup look about him, hasn't he? I doubt whether he's got that weight for age sprint and dash, but geez, in the 2 mile handicap in the spring, he's right in the race.
Paul Harvey told me this morning, very early in the morning in the West, but he said, don't worry about the Cox Plate. We're not even probably going to enter for it. The Melbourne Cup is the race. He doesn't quicken, but he just keeps finding the line of the key words that Paul Harvey just keeps telling me.
That's it. The thing that you like about him, Paul Harvey's... Oh, look, he's a class galloper and he's right on song.
I can't tell from that if he's a Melbourne Cup horse or not, because it's like, you know, about 3 rungs below what he could have met in Sydney if he'd come over, and I was hoping he would. But nevertheless, they've won their home derby and won it convincingly, and that's all the horse can do. He's a very good horse, there's no doubt about that, but I just don't think you can line up where he's at from that field.
Looks like he'll run in a fortnight, Richard, in that St Ledger. That'll be his last run this preparation. He'll then have 7 weeks off before being prepared solely for the Melbourne Spring.
Right, let's...
うちはモエレ・エスポワールとこの辺り固まってまいりました。差がなく3番マイネル・アムンゼン。スタートしてからの1000メートルは61秒台で通過しています。あと後方ですが、マカイビー・ディーバは後方3番手に変わりません。山のブリザード外に並びました。わずか仕掛けました。マカイビー・ディーバがその後400の標識を通過。第4コーナーのカーブ。内いっぱいはスプリングシオン。ちょっと外目から一気にハスラー抜けました。ハスラー抜けました。満を持して外から鈴のマーチが接近。今度はかわした。その後3番手争い、カンファーベスト、そしてマイネル・アムンゼン、その後方は5枠の両馬、マカイビー・ディーバは坂でちょっと苦しんでいる。先頭を抜けた鈴のマーチ、1馬身半から2馬身のリード、2番手ハスラー粘った、3番手金原ドラゴン、合力。
Nakayama.
Yeah, this is her. You see her in the orange cap there. They have to wear various coloured caps, and she's back in about 7th or 8th place here. She's being urged forward. She's not really happy on the hard ground, but more to the point, she was heavily in season, and she just didn't seem to show her zip.
She sweated up before the race, apparently.
Yeah, she was unhappy, and Lee said she ran 10 lengths below her best. These are Group 3 horses over there. I know she had a bit of weight, but you see it, she just laboured to the line. Didn't do much in the run home. So it's a bit hard to line that up, but Lee said it's heavily in season. He hadn't seen her so in season before. So, yeah. and which will be the Tenno show.
Yeah, Lee's told me this morning, Richard, that the mare travelled down to Kyoto. How far? I think it's about, is it 6 or 7 hours?
Yes.
Travelled down on Friday, and she's no signs of any problem. So it's all just hoping that a little bit of rain comes around Kyoto for that meeting on May 1.
And I think what you've got to remember too, Group 1, 2, 3 in Japan, they vary to a minute degree. Look, she won't be meeting anything better, and I think given the fact that she came off a BMW, heading to 2 mile, 3,200 metres, coming to Japan, back to 2,000 metres, it really didn't have any hope anyway, I didn't think.
Oh, so the junket's still on, is it, Delph?
Oh, don't worry about that. TaylorMadeTravel.com.au, be there.
Are we going to be able to see this race on
the Victorian steeplechaser Karazi? He scored a convincing win in the well, it's the richest jumping race in the world, the richest steeplechase, the $1.8 million Nakayama Grand Jump over 42.50 held in Japan yesterday afternoon, and he won by a length and a quarter. And there was another New Zealander in the racehorse called Frontier who failed to finish. But the Eric Musgrove trained Karazi, well, he did the job, ridden by Brett Scott.
Yeah, terrific performance. Look, he's a 10-year-old, and he's a pony. He's, be flat being 15 hands, Karazi, in the steeplechases there.
And this is the WA St Ledger, weight for age over the 2,400 metres, all the ages plastered. It's $1.10 currently, 7 a rating special over 1, 5 and 3. True Seal, Ivory Lane and Lay Tear. Horses in the yard, and there is the champ plastered, $1.10 the 7. Where Stormy Nova hails from as we head to Darren McCauley for the WA St Ledger.
The Derby winner, drawn the inside gate. They're racing in the St Ledger of 2005. He left pretty quickly today, plastered. Ivory Lane and Lay Tear are going to head him. Lay Tear's riders keen to lead Staples. He sends him up to join Ivory Lane, and in this order they race out to the side by the 800. Ivory Lane about a half to 3/4 of a length on True Steel. The Pontus often going with plastered. He pulled him 3 wide to start his run. A length and a half to Lay Tear, who's off the bit being niggled at, and then 2 lengths to Lados, crying in vain, and over on the fence to Glitzy Show. True Steel headed Ivory Lane, coming to the 450, with plastered going up to eyeball him. A length and a half to Lay Tear, a similar margin, Glitzy Show from Lados. They make the corner in the St Ledger. Plastered gets the head in front of True Steel. A length and a half, Lay Tear running to third. 2 lengths to Glitzy Show, and now Paul lets him down. It's plastered at the 200. Nearly 2 lengths to Lay Tear, True Steel. He hasn't really shaken him up. He has a look to the right, then the left. Plastered's clear, and the favourite's going to come away. He racks up the Derby, the St Ledger double, and completes his 3-year-old season in a blaze of glory, untouched in the St Ledger. Beat Lay Tear, True Steel. Lados next from Glitzy Show. A gap crying in vain, and Ivory Lane, which led them, has weakened to run stone motherless last. He bows out, conquering the St Ledger. What a season it's been for this 3-year-old. The Amy Vars, the Victoria Derby, the Mel Vista, the WA Derby, and now the St Ledger.
Well, those daring enough to take their $1.16. That's an unusual price. A very generous price about Plastered, Lay Tear, True Steel.
Well, the debate goes on here in the studio, and I'll get Alfie to join it in just a second, but Ronnie and I have been debating whether this horse is a Caulfield Cup horse or whether he's just a Melbourne Cup horse. I think he can run well in the Caulfield Cup because I think he'll get plenty of pace on in that race.
No, you said he'll win the Caulfield Cup.
I said he could win a Caulfield Cup.
Now, I'm saying he'll run a nice 4th or 5th and he can win a Melbourne Cup.
OK, well, I don't doubt that he can win a Melbourne Cup too. I think he's got enough class. What do you think, Alfie?
Well, I think what we've got to remember, and we have been saying this continually, every time he goes out there, he gets sufficient speed on, and they're going to run along in a Caulfield Cup, Richard, so I'd hate to say that he couldn't win one. I think he's a very good horse. I'll tell you what, whatever he does in a Caulfield Cup, though, I guarantee he will improve in a Melbourne Cup.
Paul Harvey, as we seek to get him over the line, he's now going to have 7 weeks off in the spelling paddock at Lindsay Smith's, and then he'll do all his track work over there and then come to Melbourne. First up at this stage being planned is the Craig Lee at 1,600 metres. 1,600 metres.
And Richard, you've seen...
History could be in the making on Sunday when Victorian-bred but Hong Kong-raced horse Silent Witness lines up for his 17th consecutive win. Never beaten, the 5-year-old has become the idol of racing-mad Hong Kong.
It's the sight they've come to expect and back in Hong Kong.
16 straight, never beaten.
The 5-year-old has already won $5.5 million. Silent Witness has equalled the US record held by both the great Citation and Cigar. Critics, though, say the victories haven't come outside of the former colony, but the gelding has beaten some of the best sprinters from Europe and the Southern Hemisphere. The experts have no doubts he can make it 17 in a row.
He's got all the boxes ticked. He's got early speed, he's got tactical speed, he's got strength, and the one day that he should have been beaten, he won on sheer courage.
The growing fan club who filled their wallets are far from silent witnesses to an era of turf history. They're convinced it will be an even longer winning streak.
I can see him winning 20 times.
The champion's exploits are likened to the inspirational deeds of Phar Lap here during the Great Depression.
They identify with them because, you see, Hong Kong's been having a couple of years of downturn. When you suddenly get a champion along, and he's a world champion, they feel good.
As they say, everybody loves a winner. And every time Silent Witness runs, the Jockey Club, which controls Hong Kong betting, loses $500,000. Owen Martin.
On screen at number 11. Silent Witness, $1.10, New South Wales and Super Tab, $1.20 on Unitab.
As Thrilm wins this race this afternoon, we then look to the future. What next? Will it be onto the Mile Championship here, the inaugural running of the Asia Mile Series, and possibly then on to Japan for the Yasuda Kinnan, which would really open up the attention of the world? Or is it the offer of a match race with Ghost Zapper at Santa Anita?
Well, there's many offers coming in, and why wouldn't there be?
We're ready. 16 undefeated, but a new twist today. 1,400 metres, 7 furlongs if you prefer. He's come up at the plum gate of Barrier 1. Scintillation is Pressure, you've done a sterling job with a champion. He's done that. They're off. Hits the gates well. Silent Witness. Planet Ruler's going to park behind him. Figures going forward to attack. Tiber jumps on. Right there also My Choice. Scintillation dwelled a bit. He's trying to bury the lead. At the half-mile mark, Silent Witness by half a length. The Figures second. Tiber has to do it tougher. Scintillation there also in 5. The Duke and My Choice the inside from Planet Ruler, Town of Fionn. Gem of India, Meridian Star and Electronic Unicorn is last of all. Ears up as the crowd roars as Silent Witness swings in front. Figures is off the bridle. Tiber chases hard. Scintillation trying hard from the Duke. My Choice, Meridian Star. Next Town of Fionn, Planet Ruler, Gem of India. Electronic Unicorn with the old legs. The big heart comes from last. Tries to wind up and does. Silent Witness sitting on it. Electronic Unicorn from the pack closing. Town of Fionn, Scintillation further back. But Silent Witness, I'll never see anything like this again in my life. 17 straight. Stand, cheer, applaud the best because he's just got better. Silent Witness by 1.5 to Town of Fionn. Planet Ruler, Electronic Unicorn, Meridian Star. Next in the Duke, Scintillation, Gem of India, My Choice, Tiber. And Figures dropped out last of all. How easy was that? 1400, not a problem. Straight to the front. Rolled at a good speed and he just went further away. Unbelievable. When is this going to end? Ghost Zapper, they want a match race. I want to be there and I know who will win. Silent Witness, the best sprinter that there could possibly have ever been. And I can't believe that I can use those words and they fit. Can you believe this? 17 straight. He's run 121.8. Silent Witness, 17 out of 17. Town of Fionn.
There with David Silent Witness, $1.20. He's closed in New South Wales and Super Tab and Unitab. You've taken 5 to 1 on. He's recorded 121.8. And it was just incredible to hear that Silent Witness made the Time magazine's list of the world's 100 most influential people of 2004. And the legend has only grown bigger in 2005.
Stepping up to 1,400 metres, you might like to point out something from a gentleman that kindly read us a letter about a couple of other greats of yesteryear.
John Smith from Warwick wrote in and said, look, the horses like Gloaming and Ajax. Gloaming had 19 successive victories and Ajax 18 successive victories. Silent Witness hasn't done that yet. You're right, John, but Silent Witness has done this since debut. Now, 17 straight since starting and undefeated. Now, that's some sort of record. I can't remember a horse anywhere doing that. Rebo won 16 races in his career and was undefeated. And Rebo did win 2 arcs, I think, and won in 3 countries. So, you know, he was an absolute freak. This horse has only won at Sha Tin, but he's a super sprinter, there's no doubt about that. And I want to see him race somewhere else so that he can claim the title of world champion. Well, but until he races somewhere else, I can't give it to him.
If a horse in Australia come out and won 17 straight in this manner, would you call him a champion?
I'd call him a champion. I call this horse a champion, but they want him called the world champion. He hasn't raced in the world. He's only raced at Sha Tin.
The Americans wanted a match race between their best sprinter, Ghost Zapper, and Silent Witness, but Tony Cruz told me Friday that won't happen. The Americans wanted the race over a mile and they wanted it on a dirt track. He said, why do we want to go on dirt? We want to stay with the turf.
I'm a little worried when he gets to a mile. I think that's going to be...
He had a bit up his sleeve there.
Yeah, he did, but a mile is different.
Yeah.
That's his biggest test to date when he hits the mile.
Yeah. He goes to the mile on May 14, Ron.
Looking forward to it.
Right, now the QE2 Cup, and...
Stirred up, wasn't he, as he went past us, so we'll have
Tony Cruz. There's the favourite on the screen, Grand Army. Douglas White was booked for this ride at a very early stage. Grand Army is trimmed all the way down to 2.7, so he is the 7-4 favourite for the Cup. Grand Army. We'll update the betting for you. Interesting just how tight in the betting he is. There's been some forms of betting in Australia as Grand Army versus Elvstrom, simply being the only form of betting, and it was about evens apiece.
Yes, look, they're both top-class horses, no doubt about it. It's just a matter of who's going to get that luck going into that first turn. I think that...
Ain't here restless. They're away. Darby. Ain't Here has missed the start badly. Zambuca bounced the gates well. Perfect Partner's getting over with Elvstrom, and Apollo Trump fairly well goes forward. Grand Army deep trying to slide into a spot, and Vengeance of Rain holding a spot from Super Kid. Out wide of Phoenix Reach, grazing keeps halfway mark, nearly 15 from first to last, and Perfect Partner leads. Apollo's parked up second, Zambuca third, and Grand Army with a great run in four for the Aussie. Elvstrom follows him, Vengeance of Rain underneath it, followed by Phoenix Reach, the inside Super Kid. The little South African Lion grazing about 8 off the leader from Elegant Fashion. Russian Pearl 8 here. Bullish Luck quietly 2 lengths away last of all. Perfect Partner leads at the 600. They pick it up. Apollo travels well. Grand Army pulls out, comes on. Zambuca, Elvstrom, Vengeance of Rain pushes it out. Grazing deep off the bridle, trying to get around Elvstrom. Next Phoenix Reach, Super Kid, Elegant Fashion. Bullish Luck is last off the bridle. Perfect Partner running from Apollo. Zambuca, Grand Army's flat. Vengeance of Rain, Super Kid picking up. Next Grazing coming on with Phoenix Reach. They draw together. Bullish Luck 4 lengths off them, unleashing a big burst. Vengeance of Rain kicked to the front. Grazing comes at him, trying hard. Russian Pearl, Super Kid, Vengeance of Rain, and Grazing cutting him back. Vengeance of Rain, the Derby winner, wins the QE2 from Grazing second, third Phoenix Reach at a photo with Russian Pearl. Bullish Luck couldn't get closer. Super Kid, Apollo, Elvstrom. Next in came Elegant Fashion. Zambuca, Grand Army ran flat. Next Perfect Partner. Ain't Here last of all. The respect of a great trainer. David Ferraris, champion from South Africa, coming to Hong Kong. Huge quote. This is the best horse I've trained. He's up there with the best. And he has won one of the big ones. Grazing at the top of the straight, but Vengeance of Rain with his great turn of foot. He's a very good 4-year-old, world class.
Bred Vengeance of Rain, of course, commenced his career in Australia when known as Subscribe by Zabeel out of Danelaw, the Danehill mare. 3 starts between 1800 and 2200 for 3 wins, and 3 starts for 3 wins over 2,000 metres right-handed on the turf. And he is a full brother to Dazelle, of course, who...
yeah, big thrill there for the connections of Vengeance of Rain. Now, that used to race in Australia. I think it won a group race back here by the name of Subscribe.
Very good horse. He's a Derby winner in Hong Kong. Look, he was sold, and I think in the contract of the sale that he was never to come back and race in Australia, so the Cox Plate is probably out of the question for him, which is unfortunate. But he's a very good horse. Geez, our horses went awful. This is a race that you can't go there as an afterthought at the end of a preparation. The timing's not there for our horses to perform. I thought Grand Army had every hope, and likewise with Elvstrom. I thought they were very disappointing.
Ronnie, it's very tough to take horses, as you know, overseas, and you take them onto different conditions. So many things are different. The local trainers know so much more about their own racing. And I don't think it means that our horses are worse than Hong Kong horses, not as good. They weren't as good on the day. But, gee, it's tough. You know, the locals have so much of an advantage. This is why racing is not really like athletics, which is a global sport, because the 100-metre track is the same consistency. You just run in a straight line, you know. Things are standardised, whereas in racing, nothing is standardised.
Yep. Richard, that horse, Vengeance of Rain, will be allowed to come back and race in Australia. Lloyd Williams, who owned the horse in Melbourne, has waived that part of the contract, and the horse will definitely, if they want to, and I think talking with the trainer, they are very keen. I can hear some giggling. They are very keen to come back and race in the Cox Plate.
He's trumped you again, Ronnie.
Ron knew. He was fixing me up. Yeah. The word from...
Well, here's the horse it is. Can Makybe Diva crack the $10 million prize money barrier when it contests the Emperor's Cup in Japan this afternoon, our time? Well, we'll see that race live on Sky. We'll tell you more on that in just a moment. But our man...
Can she win? Can she win, Alf?
Ron, with all due respect, it is, in my opinion, a toss of the coin.
What price is she?
No, now I say, let me just explain toss of the coin. If you get anything in the black, I'm happy to back it.
In the black? Is she that short?
Well, look, they're not silly over here, I guarantee you. They know all about it. A lot of these horses that are going into the...
Shortened into $10 on the toe to New South Wales. Lincoln at 13. And Silk Famous is at 20 to 1 with Hishi Miracle at 33s. She's out to 2 to 1 on $1.50 Makybe Diva, $13 about Eye Popper. And still two more to look at, both Big Odds, Big Gold and Bullet Lane. Into market order, Makybe Diva, 150 New South Wales, 140 Super, 140 Uni. Admire Pen for the
3,200 metres ahead, and away they go. On the inside, Active Bio began well in the centre of the field. Silk Famous also commenced smartly. Out wider as expected. Big Gold moving forward, and that's the plenty along the rails. Prove on its inside of Tosho Knight is outside of Makybe Diva. Then a gap further back to Yukino Sun Royal. On its outside, Lincoln, and last of all is Still Higher Game. Well, they've gone down the back straight, and at the moment it's still leading the way. In fact, it's taking the way as Silk Famous. Silk Famous, this is a real shock. It's showing the lead by 2 lengths from Big Gold. Running on the fences, that's the plenty. On its outside, Chakra. Further out, Hishi Miracle. Back to Active Bio. Further back, Bullet Lane. Sunrise Pegasus looks to be in a good position at the moment. Then a further gap to Eye Popper. Back on the fences, Sukazoka Mumbo. Then My Soul Sound. Further back to Admire Groove. On its outside, Heart's Cry. Back on the fence, Tosho Knight. Makybe Diva starting to make up ground. Back on the fence, further to Yukino Sun Royal. Further back, Lincoln, the favourite or second favourite, well back. And Heart's Cry, well back. It's still Silk Famous from Big Gold. Moving forward on the outside, that's the plenty. On the fence, that's the plenty. Chakra still wide. Hishi Miracle's been 3 wide most of the way. And further out, Bullet Lane as they round the turn with 410 metres to run. Taking the lead now at the moment is Big Gold. Big Gold kicked away. Big Gold taken on by That's the Plenty. Here come the runners. Where's Makybe Diva? Makybe Diva in the middle of the track is rattling home. Makybe Diva running on. It's Big Gold on the inside. Here comes Makybe Diva trying to lift with Glen Boss. Running on Big Gold, and here comes Suzuka Mumbo. Suzuka Mumbo at any old price. Suzuka Mumbo goes to it. Gets up from on the inside. Big Gold. Eye Popper. Then Tosho Knight, a further gap to Lincoln getting home late. Makybe Diva failed in the run home out wide. Then came Heart's Cry. Back to Admire Groove. Yukino Sun Royal. Around 30 to 1 the price on course. And they've run a very quick time, 3:16.5. Makybe Diva loomed at the 250. Looked like she had the chance to run on, but died in the run. And didn't finish in the first 7 or 8. Over the last 200 metres, Makybe Diva not able to lift.
But ridden by Katsumi Ando, trained by Mitsuru Hashida. 58.80 and 9.80. Big Gold second at 24.80. Eye Popper third at 3.10. And we stand by for...
Really, I mean, as I said on the day, if the track's firm and the horse doesn't like it, doesn't matter how well she's going or how good she's looking. And actually, Glen Boss said that she felt great until she hit the straight and just didn't like the ground and would not stretch out. Alfie, you were there. What did you make of it?
Richard, I think at the 300 metre mark, everybody jumped out of their chair and thought, this is home. But nevertheless, it wasn't the case. Look, there was a fair bit of rain leading up to the event. There was drizzle from about race 5 onwards, and the track was that hard, though. All it really did was make it a little bit slippery on top. Look, I thought a little bit, they start to feel a little bit short in their action, but given the time they ran, I still thought the effort was very solid. The only start, because they ran 3:16.5, which is, what, 2/10 slower than the fastest Melbourne Cup we've ever run.
They do time them differently.
Yeah, runs as good as she's capable of, and as I've said for a long, long time, we underestimate the Japanese horses. They are top class.
Gee, it's hard to peak a horse up 2 and 3 times in a preparation. The timing wasn't there with Makybe Diva. I don't know about this track's too hard business. What about the Australian Cup? How hard was that track?
Not that hard.
Oh, turn it up.
It wasn't that hard.
It's an excuse.
No, it wasn't that hard.
Ran
It was
a world
hard.
record.
Ronnie,
Yeah, they
Ronnie, I'm only going on a bloke who walked the track Ronnie, I'm only going on a bloke who walked the track in Flemington and walked the track in Japan.
I'm not
and
knocking
said
Makybe
one was a
Diva.
cricket pitch and one wasn't.